What's up, all of my horror fanatics out there? Welcome back. I'm the Jay Sloan, and I'm back here to do another movie madness video for you guys today. And I'm joined once again by Chris Brock. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Feeling a little bit better. Been sick through the weekend, which we talked about that, but never sick, or never too sick, I should say, than to watch some John Carpenter films, and that's exactly what we're going to do. The kick to this movie madness video, we're going to start on Sunday. And in the Movie Madness video, over the span of 5 days, we're going to be having a John Carpenter Movie Madness marathon. It's going to be all in one video. And the reason that we're doing that is because Mr. Carpenter's birthday will be on January 16th, which will be the final day of the Movie Madness. And we thought we would go ahead and just do an entire week, or close to a week, devoted to Carpenter movies. And just period, we love the director anyway. He's my favorite horror director. I think he is Chris's as well.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just super thrilled to be able to do this. And the first movie that we're going to start off by watching is Escape from New York. It's been several years since I've seen this, and to be honest, I don't remember too much about it. So it's kind of going to be like the first time that I'm viewing it, and really excited about this one. We're going to follow it up with Escape from LA, and that'll be our two for the day. We're going to try to get at least two movies, maybe more, depending on how early we start per day. So yeah, what do you think about Escape from New York, Chris?
Well, for me, I've only seen it, I think, one time, and that was when it was released by Scream Factory, which I got the date here. It was April 21st, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about 5 years ago. And I remember it pretty well. I remember liking it. Kurt Russell's a badass in anything he does. So I really love the character of Snake Plissken. I love the atmosphere and the world that they're in this movie. I think it's very fascinating and a very cool concept. And just a badass movie in general. Can't wait to rewatch and kind of refresh on the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I'm super excited to watch both this and Escape from LA. And I guess we're going to go ahead and cut here, and we're going to show some more clips. Going to try not to keep them too lengthy because it is going to be over the next 5 days. So I don't want it to be like an hour-long video, but we're going to show some good clips here and there, and then we'll both talk about all of the films briefly at the end of the Movie Madness. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and let's get this going. So we are about an hour into Escape from New York. Really enjoying this one. Like I said, it'd been a long time since I'd seen it, but I mean, it's just got a stellar cast and it's got that Carpenter feel. I love the score. Kurt Russell with Snake Plissken's just awesome. I really love the atmosphere too, with the post-apocalyptic setting in New York. Yeah, just really loving this one. What about you, Chris?
Oh yeah, man. It's definitely great on a second viewing.
Yeah, like I said, I think yeah, that's awesome. That's how I jam when I'm driving down the road.
Me too.
So yeah, this will probably be the one and only clip in Escape from New York, and next we're going to be moving on to Escape from LA, so stay tuned for some more clips from that. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we're moving on to Escape from LA. I don't think I've ever seen Escape from LA. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it. Some people say it's terrible, some people say it's alright. What do you think about Escape from LA, Chris?
I definitely think Escape from New York is better. I don't really mind this one. I don't think it's absolutely horrible like a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun little sequel. It could have been better, but I'm happy with it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped, pretty pumped to see it myself. And kind of, I don't know, give my thoughts about it toward the end because I really loved Escape from New York. So I'm hoping I find a little bit of enjoyment out of this one. I'm sure I will, but guess we'll go ahead and cut it here, and we'll show some more clips of the movie here in just a little bit. So we are about an hour and 10 minutes into Escape from LA. Not as good as Escape from New York, but it's not absolutely terrible. I think the CGI throws me off quite a bit, but other than that, I like a lot of parts about it. The Surgeon General part, I like that. setting's not too bad. Like I said, it's not Escape from New York. I think I like that one a lot better, but it's pretty good. It's what, 15 years after, almost 15 years after they made Escape from New York, so.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Holy shit.
Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard.
Oh my god.
Wow. I forgot about this scene.
Oh shit. Okay, well, that has been there's old Steve Buscemi. Oh lord. What do you think about Escape from LA, Chris?
Sorry, that was awesome. I don't know. It's okay. Like you said, the CGI really throws you off. I feel like they kind of, I don't know. I like the whole angle and the plot, but they kind of already did that in the first movie. I kind of wish it was something different.
Yeah.
I mean, there is differences in it, but it's kind of the same plot, pretty much.
Yeah, I
Just
agree.
very minor change-ups. I wish they would have done something completely different.
Yeah. And it was made in '96, and I think that kind of goes back with the CGI, very early CGI that I guess they felt like they had to use to get some of these scenes done. But
before you end that clip, one thing I've noticed is where Dean Cundy's not doing the what is it called, cinematography.
Yeah.
It is so much different from Escape from LA, and I kind of feel like that brings that atmosphere down just a little bit. Or Escape from New York, sorry.
Yeah, it is. The score feels a little different too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Carpenter did the score for this. He does for most of his movies. Maybe he didn't, but definitely score wise, musically, it doesn't sound like a Carpenter flick. But
the theme where it introduces Snake Plissken, I think that was the best so far. Other than that, I'm not too thrilled with the music.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to end the clip here. Unless we watch anything else, I'm not sure if we are today or not. Going to watch another John Carpenter movie. That'll be the end of day one of the Carpenter movie madness. But we'll see. We might watch something else. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this clip, and this is Escape from LA. Okay, guys, welcome back to day 2 of the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. I'm joined once again by Chris Brock. How you doing tonight, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Trying to feel a little bit better. I, mentioned in some of the clips yesterday that have been pretty sick over the weekend, and I had to take the day off from work. But like we talked about, I'm feeling some better. Just trying to recuperate from the sickness a little bit, and couldn't miss another John Carpenter movie. No matter how sick or unwell you are, never a bad time for a John Carpenter movie. And the movie that we're going to be watching first, as you guys can see, is They Live, one of my personal favorite John Carpenter films. Definitely up there, has a stellar cast and just a really great storyline. Kind of cheesy and hokey in some points, but I think it still holds up. I love some of the effects, and Rowdy Roddy Piper is just great in this movie. Perfect casting. What do you think about They Live, Chris?
For me, I've only seen bits and pieces of it. I don't think I've ever fully watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I know about, the fight scene, the scene, I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. That's a classic quote. And I know about, the movie itself. I just haven't got to sit down and actually watch it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy it, because from the clips I have seen and from what I've heard, other people talk about the movie, it sounds like it's going to be a hell of a ride, and I can't wait to watch it.
Absolutely, man. I love this one. It's just fun from start to finish for me. I think getting to watch it fully, I think you'll really enjoy it.
I think so too.
Yep, just another really great Carpenter flick. And after this movie, we're going to try to move on to another one. If we can't move on to that one, we may try to find something else to watch that John Carpenter has directed. But thank you guys for joining. Even though it's in the same video, it's day 2 for us, and we still got a few more to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and then we'll show some clips of They Live in just a little bit. So we're coming up on the iconic scene in They Live. Everybody knows it. Try to wait around for a second so you can catch a little glimpse of it. Really love this movie. What do you think about it so far, Chris, as a full first-time watch?
So far, man, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's an awesome movie. Roddy Piper is great in it.
Yeah, he really is, man.
Badass.
He really is. Damn. Oh, wow. Teleported. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I think Roddy Piper did just a great job. I mean, he's a really good actor, too. Like,
yeah, surprisingly. He's really good.
There's some of these, wrestlers who try to be actors that I don't think it really works. But
he was always really good with promos and everything when he was a wrestler, so
yeah. So
kind of surprised me too much.
Yeah. I love the visuals in the movie too. I love the style of the aliens and all of the consumerism, like, buy, consume, reproduce, and
I like that theme of there's always some kind of hidden message in it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Sleeping through life, basically. So it's really good. Really good. Good film. One of my favorite John Carpenter films, and yeah, love this one. So wanted to show that clip. That's probably one of the most iconic scenes in the movie, so I wanted to show that. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here, and if there isn't any more clips during They Live, we'll probably show some more within the next film, so just stay tuned, guys. Okay, so we finished watching They Live just a little while ago, and now we're moving on to another classic. Technically, not all of this film was directed by John Carpenter, but 2 out of 3, might as well go ahead and enter it into the John Carpenter movie madness. The last short, of course, The Eye, which was directed by Tobe Hooper, is probably one of my favorites out of Body Bags, which is what we're going to watch. So I wanted to give him recognition where it's due. There's John Carpenter, the man himself, playing the coroner, and this is just such a fun anthology movie. This is actually the second time that it's made it to a Movie Madness video. The first time was a horror anthology, Movie Madness, I did with Chris a year and a half ago, maybe a little longer. But it's just such a classic. We figured we would go ahead and include it in the John Carpenter Movie Madness. What do you think about Body Bags, Chris?
Well, my opinion really hasn't changed since the last Movie Madness. I really enjoy it. I think it's very fun. And I pretty much really enjoy all the segments, but my favorite now would probably have to be The Eye. Yeah. I love that. John Randall. Mark Hamill does a fantastic job. But all around, it's really fun. I wish we would have got more of these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it would have been a good little series had they continued to do more Body Bags, but in a way, I guess it's kind of unique on its own to have just one. So I guess that kind of makes it unique in itself, and just another classic. Really good addition by Scream Factory. We're actually watching it on Shudder, but we both own the Scream Factory edition. The film was out of print for a long time until Scream Factory released it. And what you're seeing here is the first story, the gas station story, which is it's one of my favorites. If not my favorite, it's my second. Then The Eye would go behind that. But love this movie, and I'm right there with Chris. My opinion really hasn't changed on it too much either. So I'm going to shut up now and go ahead and end this portion of the video, and we'll show some clips here in just a little bit. Okay, guys, so we have come to the conclusion of day 2. Apologize for no clips on Body Bags. By the time we were able to film it, it was a little too late because it was on The Eye. And there was quite a few clips in the anthology Movie Madness, so I figured it would be okay without showing any clips from this one. Still one of my favorite horror anthologies, and just so much fun. I guess we'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of the Movie Madness itself, but you still feel the same about Body Bags, Chris?
Oh yeah, man, definitely a fun movie.
Yeah, for sure. I think in order of what I like the best, it will probably be the Eye, and then the Gas Station, and then Hair, I would say.
I guess that would probably be the same. I really like the Gas Station too, man. It's a close one.
It is. I mean,
both are really good.
It's got that great slasher feel to it. I mean, obviously Carpenter, directed it. It's got a really, really good casting situation. I mean, you've got little appearances and cameos by like Wes Craven. David Naughton was in there.
Yeah, David Naughton.
I can't think of the guy's name. He's a big name. Who plays the killer in the Gas Station episode.
Oh, yeah. I don't know his name, but yeah, he appears in a lot of things.
The guy from bigger known as the dude from the Revenge of the Nerds movies.
Yeah.
But
and a little small cameo of Sam Raimi, right?
Yeah, Sam Raimi's in there as the Employee of the Month picture, which is pretty cool. It's just a fun anthology all around, and I guess this 2-minute clip talking about it made up for the no clips of the film itself. We'll be back here tomorrow. It'll be just a second for you guys, but be tomorrow for us on day 3 of the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. Welcome back to day 3 of the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. I'm joined once again by Chris Brock. Chris, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good, worked a long day at work, but ready to be here and watch 2 good movies.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. I feel you on the work thing. It's always nice after a long day's work to get home, get something good to eat, take a hot shower, and always awesome to sit down and watch 2 classic John Carpenter flicks. And as you guys can see, we're starting off the night with The Fog, and this is going to be a great little refresher for me. It's been a while since I've seen the film, obviously it's got a stellar cast, one of John's earlier films, after Halloween, of course, and before The Thing. I know John had actually worked with Rob Bottin on this movie. Rob Bottin was the head ghost pirate or whatever you want to call it, and Rob Bottin actually went on to do effects for The Thing, which we'll talk about probably on the final day of the John Carpenter Movie Madness. Very spooky atmosphere. Gonna be a blast to dive into this one, and like I said, just get a refresher all around. What do you think about The Fog, Chris, before we dive into it?
Well, pretty much what you said. It's been a little bit since I've seen the movie, so this will be a nice refresher for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it does have a pretty cool cast. Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Atkins, Adrian Barbeau, a few other, well-known actors.
Yep.
And has a, great little atmosphere to it. And, it's been a little bit, so I can't wait to dive into it and see what I think. And, share my thoughts after the movie.
Oh, exactly, man. And you think about, actresses like Adrian Barbeau and Jamie Lee Curtis. It's hard to get 2 better actresses, especially from the horror genre, like Scream Queens or what have you. And it's crazy to think of Jamie Lee Curtis and how many back-to-back roles she had in the horror genre itself. And, her and Adrian Barbeau are just beautiful women. So, fun to look at. Not only that, really got great acting chops. And you got, Tom Atkins. Enough said. It's Tom Atkins.
Yeah, he's the man. Plain and simple.
And this one dude, I can't think of his name, but he's literally been in almost every Carpenter movie.
Like the homeless guy right there. Well, for me,
he was in They Live and Body Bags, which we watched yesterday. In this one, he was in. Was he in Escape from New York?
Yeah, I think he was too.
He's been in a lot of stuff. So John Carpenter found a lot of great actors and extras that he liked to work with, and he kept a pretty good crew around. And, Fog, let's dive into it, guys. There's going to be some clips here in just a little bit.
I think you're taking all of this much too seriously.
So we are probably a little over halfway in The Fog. A lot of things coming back to mind with this film. I really love the atmosphere in it. I think that's something we were talking about a little while ago. It's definitely early Carpenter, especially. I mean, you had Halloween and was 78, and Fog came out in 80, and in between that, I think you said Elvis, right, Chris?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
So it's got the same suspense that I admire with Halloween. It's what kids today would probably consider a slow burn, but I really love the spooky atmosphere and the time it takes to actually set up a story, and
Oh yeah.
brings a lot back. It's been a while since I've seen the film, but brought a lot back. And like I said earlier, stellar cast, and I like the
Oh
way
yeah.
that the ghost pirates look and how they're presented. And they're kind of kept, or they're kind of used sparingly, which is what a lot of things in horror should be. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like things that show certain amounts of violence and gore and whatnot, but there's certain stories that don't need that because it's not the story that they're trying to tell. And I really like that they're kind of kept in the shadows for the most part. Adds like I said, more of a spooky factor to it. And,
Oh yeah. Like the build up is really
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's just great actors, really cool story. Nice little ghost take. Much different from Halloween, but like I said, suspense wise, they follow the same. They're in the same vein, basically. Yeah, really like the score so far as well. Any John Carpenter movie, you can really tell like this by the score. It's a John Carpenter film, especially if he's done it himself, which he does most himself. But yeah, really enjoy The Fog so far. What do you think about The Fog, Chris?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it as well, and pretty much for the same reasons that you are enjoying it. It is a little bit more of a slower burn, but it's supposed to be that way. But
Yeah.
it's nice. It's a change of pace. It isn't like right in your face with every single scene. It's trying to build up some of the characters. It's trying to build up this atmosphere, and it's doing a pretty good job at it. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. It's not like my favorite Carpenter movie, but it's not a bad one. I don't really think I've seen a bad one yet.
No, I don't think I have either. Like I said, it's been a while, but it's bringing a lot back, and it's got an atmosphere that I love and everything that I really expect from a horror film that not a lot of kids would get today if we.
Oh yeah, that's for damn sure.
So The Fog's probably going to be the only clip of The Fog that is shown in the movie Madness, but going to move on to the next movie after this one finishes. So we just finished watching The Fog, and now we're moving on to the final film in day 3 of the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. And as you can see, it is Prince of Darkness. We both thought that The Fog and Prince of Darkness would complement each other well. Thought it would be a good little duo on day 3. They're similar in a lot of ways and different in others. They're both supernatural films. This one focusing a little bit more on satanic things, gothic elements. A little bit more so than The Fog. I feel like The Fog may be a tad more layered than this film, but I have a lot of fun with Prince of Darkness. Actually, the first time I watched Prince of Darkness was with Chris. I'd owned it. I just hadn't watched it. And that was about 2 years ago, but I remember having a blast watching it together. What do you think about Prince of Darkness, Chris?
Oh, well, for me, I kind of feel like it's an underrated John Carpenter movie.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has its fans, but I think it has more, I won't say haters, but more people that don't really like it compared to people that enjoy it. And for me, I was intrigued by it. Hadn't seen it before. I looked up YouTube reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
I eventually bought the Scream Factory Collector's Edition, and that's how I first watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I think it has a good atmosphere. It's dealing with a religious theme, and has great actors in it that have worked with John Carpenter before. You've got Donald Pleasance, Victor Wong, and so many more great actors. I think it even has Wang from Big Trouble in Little China. I can't remember his actual actor, like his name. But anyway, I just enjoy this movie. I think it's pretty underrated. And, you even get an appearance by Alice Cooper, which is kind of strange, but honestly, he plays a very good, he's a homeless guy, and he's like the leader of these homeless people, but they're possessed by pretty much It sounds weird as hell if you haven't seen the movie, but it is pretty much a container with swirling green liquid has possessed these people, and it's very demonic. Very cool little plot, very strange, but I really enjoyed it.
Control the hallway after it gets dark. If I can make my way up front, I could break some windows, call for help.
So we don't have much longer left in Prince of Darkness, and it'll be the end of day 3 on the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. I think we both feel the same about the film. I really, really dig it. I love the vibes. Like I said earlier, the gothic themes within. It's just really, really cool to me, and definitely feels like an 80s Carpenter flick, whereas, Halloween obviously was made in 78, and The Fog maybe was shot in 79 or 80. I know it was released in 80, so, but they felt very 70s, and he's definitely a director whose style shifts between the decades, and that's a really, really difficult thing to do, but he does it. I mean, you can still watch those films and say that's a John Carpenter movie. It changes, but it's the same. It's really hard to describe, but it's the best compliment that I can give the man. I think he's very, very talented director. My favorite horror director, and the one dude, me and Chris can't help but laugh.
He does it so good.
Yeah, that guy. It's on screen right now.
What a great actor.
I feel bad for him. He makes me laugh, but I feel bad for him because I feel like he's struggling to fight, trying to fight it as hard as he can. But yeah, Prince of Darkness is fun, and like I said, John Carpenter is just an amazing, amazing director, and somehow manages to stay the same but change with each decade that his movies are made in. So it's a great compliment on the man. What do you think about Prince of Darkness, Chris? Any final things to say about it?
I like the tone of it a lot. Definitely dealing with like all the religious themes and gothic themes and stuff like that. It's very unique, and I feel like if you only watch it once, like there's so much more to it that I don't know. I feel like you got to watch it at least another time.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit slower burn, but I enjoy it. Yeah. And it's a cool little cast as well. And I would have to agree with you on John Carpenter with how his style does change in ways. But, a lot of directors, they do the same thing over and over again. John Carpenter does something completely different, but still has his stamp on it.
Exactly.
And I really enjoy a lot of his movies. I'm not just saying that. I really do enjoy a lot of them. I want to watch The Ward because I hear that's the one that is pretty bad. But from what I've seen, John Carpenter is a solid director, man. I cannot wait to finish this week out, man.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I feel like from the 70s even through the 90s with films like, Vampires, of course, and I can't really speak about Ghosts of Mars because I've not seen it. But as far as a steady line of work that is damn near perfect from film to film, I mean, I think John Carpenter is the most steady horror director there is. That's why he's my favorite, because I can enjoy just about everything the man has directed. So that's really, that's rare. That doesn't happen in today's time at all with any new directors. I mean, we're missing like masters of horror like John Carpenter, who's still alive, but he doesn't really direct anymore. Wes Craven, Tobe Hooper, George A. Romero. I mean, we're missing the other three have passed, unfortunately. But it's just, I don't know, man. They movies it was a different time, man. It was a different time, and there was a different amount of passion that went into it that doesn't resonate with people today, directors today, for some odd reason. But
hopefully one day we'll get back to the way that it was.
I agree, man. This guy, man.
Dude, a round of applause for this guy.
He's a really good actor, dude.
And along with Donald Pleasance too.
Yeah, Dr. Loomis. we were laughing earlier because it's really like Dr. Loomis is like a priest. It's just like he is Dr. Loomis. Like after you see those films, and Donald Pleasant's not that he's like a one trick pony. I mean, he's a good actor. It's not like he can only play one role. But after you see him as Dr. Loomis, you're kind of
It's kind of hard not to say in that way.
It really is. Oh man, she's sexy as fuck. I guess we're gonna go ahead and end the clip here, guys. This is 5 minutes long. Stay tuned. It'll be just a second for you. Quite a bit of time for us, but we'll see you back here on day 4 of the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon tomorrow. Welcome back to day 4 of the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. I'm joined once again by Chris Brock. Chris, how's it going tonight, man?
It's going pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Awesome. Definitely ready to dive into John Carpenter's Vampires, my favorite vampire film of all time. Such a classic. Love this film from start to finish. I'll save most of my thoughts toward the end for the overview of the films we've watched, but I feel like my thoughts have been pretty well documented on YouTube over the years between my channel and Late Night Frights. It's just absolute classic for me. I always wanted it to get a proper release, and I felt like Scream Factory could do it justice. I do love the release, and I'm kind of mixed on it at the same time. It's a nice looking release, better than the Twilight Time one.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Scream Factory is a whole different subject that I won't dive into in the video. Just going to keep it about the film. Vampires. What's your initial thoughts on Vampires before we head into the movie?
For me, man, I love some vampire films. You've got The Lost Boys and Fright Night, which I love those movies, and a lot of people love those movies as well. But for me, John Carpenter's Vampires is right up there with them.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I mean, it might be my favorite as well. I don't really know. But I know that I love this movie. It's badass. It has great characters. You've got James Woods. It's fucking Jack Crow. You've got Balak, Montoya. You got Padre.
Mm-hmm.
You even have the guy from Mortal Kombat who played Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
As one of, Jack Slayer's, or what do you want to call it, one of his teammates at the beginning of the movie. Just a little shit like that, man. And then you add John Carpenter on top of that as the director. It is a fucking awesome movie and
Absolutely.
a fun ride from start to finish. I love it, man.
I agree, man. Such an amazing, very western, spaghetti western, if you will, feel to the movie. Just a beautiful setting. The score kicks major ass in this movie.
It does.
I mean, any John Carpenter score really does, but I don't know. You could say arguably this is one of John Carpenter's last great films, I would say.
I think it's a little underrated, too.
It is. Yeah, this is one I watched on VHS when I was a kid, and I have to thank my dad for that, because this is, this is his favorite vampire movie, and this is one that I watched over and over and over, and I mean, I wanted to be like Jack Crow. I wanted to kill vampires, you know what I mean? I wanted a leather jacket, I wanted to be a fucking badass, and, I mean, I don't kill vampires, but I am a badass, so...
He is a certified badass, people.
I got one of those things in life, so I'm doing good. I always wanted
leather jacket.
You have a leather jacket? Yeah, I have one. Had one. We used it for the fan series, but it wasn't genuine leather. Don't tell anybody.
Leather.
I always wanted that crossbow, and I would ask my dad if I could have a crossbow, and he's like, "No, you're 8. You don't need a crossbow." So I didn't get the crossbow, but I thought it was a badass crossbow. And Thomas Ian Griffith is Valak, man. It's just fucking.
He's a badass vampire, man. Just the whole look of him.
He is. He definitely is.
That motel scene, dude. Holy fuck.
Oh, I love that scene, dude. Love Padre. Mr. Baldwin. Love him as Montoya.
Oh, yeah.
Montoya is just a great character.
Yes.
Start to finish, this movie's gold. So I'm fun. Sorry, guys. Been a long day. Happy to dive into this fun flick is what I meant to say. And we're going to cut it here because we've been talking for about 4 minutes. But we're going to show some clips throughout the film. And we're gonna move on after this to another, I think, very underrated Carpenter flick, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But hope you guys are still with us. I don't know how long the video's been so far, but it's gonna get a lot fucking longer, I can assure you. So stay tuned, and yeah, continue on with us on this John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. We're about, I'd say, about halfway, maybe a little more into vampires, and so good to see this film on with a Scream Factory release. Like I said, I'm a little mixed on it. Mainly the cover art, not the release itself. I mean, I like the cover art, but it's just not the collage style artwork that I prefer. But you know, it's great to have it. Definitely looks really, really good. Not to down the Twilight Time release, but this is pretty cheap, and I would say if you don't have it on Blu-ray, this will be the way to go. I think you could probably get it for under $30 now. So, and this movie, I don't know what to say about it other than I adore it. You know, from start to finish, we've had a blast talking, laughing, just seeing these epic fucking moments with Jack Crow and Montoya and Katrina and Padre and Valak. I mean, it's just all, and we talked a lot about the shots. Because we filmed the fan series, and stylistically what John Carpenter does with each film is impressive because they're so different. And I love a lot of the POV shots in this movie, which I feel was just could be done. Maybe it was budgetary, maybe it was to save time, or maybe it was just done out of style, but it works is what I like about it.
Right. Well, then also you got to remember the whole plot thing with Katrina being able to see from
that. Yeah, that's true.
Point of view. Like either way you look at it, like it's cool the way that he did it, and to me, and I know to you as well, it works really good.
Yeah, I like the first person shot, which she's not seeing through his eyes at that point when he's flying to the back of the truck, and you can see him
that's an awesome shot
coming up on the truck. It's sometimes less is more. I mean, in those situations. So, oh man, I love this. About to have one fuck of a good fight. Oh man, you don't punch Jack Crow, bro. Come on, Montoya. Come on, man. Love this movie. Definitely, I'll show the release up close. Definitely pick this release up. Quite a few special features on here. A lot of new special features as well. It's just, I can't recommend the movie enough. It's in my top, I would say my top 3 favorite John Carpenter films of all time. It would probably go Halloween, The Thing, and Vampires for me, and then I might do, you know, a list and rank what we've watched so far toward the overview of the movie Madness, but love this movie. I'm just gonna shut up about it, but I want to see if you have any things to say about it. This is probably the last clip from it, so do you have anything to say about it before I end the video, Chris?
No, nothing too much other than I'm having a great time watching it. Every time we watch this, we have a blast. You know, we crack up.
We've seen this a lot together by this point, too.
We have been. And, you know, if anybody likes John Carpenter movies or vampire movies, check this out. It could be your cup of tea or it could not be, but it's worth a shot. Me and you really enjoy the movie. And
oh, yeah, for sure.
We recommend it to pretty much anybody.
I agree. If you haven't watched Vampires, watch it now. So we just finished watching Vampires, and as you can see, we're moving on to John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness from 1994. It's been several years since I've seen the film, but the main thing I can remember is just how fucking balls to the wall crazy it is. It goes from 0 to 100, it seems, and it's just really wacky and really out there in a good way. Not a lot of people talk about In the Mouth of Madness. It's definitely underrated, but the ones who do seem to hold it in very high regard and seem to say really great things about it. Only my second time watching it, second or third, so I'm pretty excited to dive into it. What do you think about In the Mouth of Madness, Chris?
I think I probably have to agree with you, man. I think it is a pretty underrated horror film and just an underrated Carpenter flick. I think I've only seen it probably a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times as well. This is not one I've, watched a billion times.
Yeah.
It's very trippy. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Sam Neill's character, what was it, John Trent or something like that?
Yeah.
He's like a very grounded character, and in this movie, everything around him, like, it's like constantly questioning, what is really happening. Is this really reality? Like, it's so weird. I can only kind of maybe try to compare it to something like Phantasm, where you don't know what the fuck's going on. So I can't wait to check it out again. And I know the ending is kind of implied that, like, it could be real or, I'm not going to spoil it. But, I can't wait to watch it again because it's been a little bit. Can't wait to, refresh on it and see what I think about it afterwards.
Yeah, it's a movie, from what I remember, you could definitely drive yourself mad with it. You start in one place and end. So, I mean, you see a man, like you said, John Trent and Sam Neill's character starts as practically a normal man, and he's slowly driven to madness. I mean, obviously, you see in the mouth of madness, but from what I remember about it the most during, I believe the last time I saw it was with either a Late Night Frights review or a battle, I can't remember which, I was tripped out through the whole movie. I was like, wow, like you don't really know what's real and what isn't. Like you said, it's much like Phantasm, but I think it takes it to another degree than Phantasm does from what I remember of it. So yeah, it's like a hallucinogen pretty much. It's like a hallucinogenic state. I can only imagine watching this, like, under the influence of like LSD or something, which I don't condone, but to anybody watching, but that would be, you drive yourself crazy. Yeah. But I guess we're going to go ahead and hit play, and we're going to start this, and we'll show some clips here in just a little bit. Stay with us, guys. We're about an hour in to In the Mouth of Madness. Really, really fun flick. I like it quite a bit. And it's just starting to get really trippy. It kind of takes off from here. But, I mean, there's some really wild and wacky moments, like the agent and B. Reed Sutter Kane, and just the whole like the myth, the myths behind everything, and then the fiction and non-fiction and what's reality and what's not, and it's all just enough to drive somebody mad. Oh shit!
Damn.
But yeah, I'm really digging In the Mouth of Madness for, I think, probably a third time viewing. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, man, I really like it. It's definitely a trippy ride.
Oh shit!
You probably won't forget it.
No.
Oh shit!
No. Oh shit! She knocked her ass out, bro. Oh man. So this will probably be the final clip of In the Mouth of Madness, and the final clip of day 4. Moving on to day 5 tomorrow, which will be the final day, which I guess it's after midnight. It's after midnight right now. So, happy birthday, John Carpenter. It's technically his birthday.
John Carpenter.
And, we'll move on to 2 classics tomorrow, and we'll see you guys back here for day 5 of the John Carpenter movie madness. So we have made it to the final day. So it's day number 5, January 16th of 2020, in the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon Week. And I guess the first thing I should say is happy birthday, Mr. Carpenter. I love all of your films. I know you're not watching this, but if you ever happen to, I want you to know that you have 3 fans right here, and we love all of your films. And I'm going to introduce the fans now. Chris Brock's joining me once again. How you doing tonight, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Cannot wait to watch these 2 films with you guys, and just want to say a big happy birthday to John Carpenter, turning the big 72 years old.
Man. It's like crazy. It's a long life.
That is. Yeah, I'm excited to be here, man. I cannot wait to watch these movies, man. 2 of my favorites, for sure.
I'm right there with you. We saved the in our opinion, the best 2 for last. As you can see, the first one we're going to be watching is The Thing from 1982. Absolutely adore this movie. We'll talk about how much we love it later. I want to get to another guest here tonight, Jeremy Burchett. You guys know him from Nick on the fan series. You know him on Late Night Frights as well as his personal channel. Jeremy, how's it hanging, man?
It is hanging pretty well, my friend. I'm high on life. I'm loving it. Happy birthday, John 72. My God, you're old, but you're still amazing. And everybody out there, welcome. And let's all just take it in. This man made it to 72 years.
And he's one of the last
truly
great.
amazing.
He's one of the last great horror directors that are still alive. Out of the, I mean, couple main three for me would be, Carpenter, Craven, and Hooper. That would be the three, and 2 out of 3 are gone. I mean, there's other ones obviously. George A. Romero, he's gone. So he's still kicking, smoking weed, and playing games. Apparently, he loves playing video games and smoking weed. But I mean, he's earned it. Look at the films he's made. So, love The Thing, man. Cannot wait to dive into it. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, and I mentioned it the other day. He's the only director that's made my favorite vampire film, my favorite slasher film. If you want to call Halloween the catalyst of all slashers, and he's made my favorite sci-fi film in The Thing, and that is rare. That rarely ever happens, and just such a talented man, and can't give him enough praise. And cannot wait to dive into The Thing. And we're going to be moving on to Ghosts of Mars after this, because it's the next one in line. I mean, it's a masterpiece. Ice Cube and Mars, yeah. That's all.
You have my money.
That's all I want to say. So stay tuned for that big finale. But The Thing, I'm gonna cut it here, and we'll show some clips here in just a little bit when we dive into it. So stay with us, guys.
Maybe every part of him as a whole. Every little piece is an individual animal with a built-in desire to protect its own life. You see, when a man bleeds, it's just tissue. My blood from owning you things will obey when it's attacked. And try and survive. Crawl away from a hot needle site.
It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. Just figured I'd shoot a clip for you guys here. Oh shit.
Ooh.
Knowles is not that bad. Window fucks himself up. I don't know if that's on purpose. When he cuts his finger here in a minute, it is deep. And they don't even wipe it just wipes the blade off very little. This shit right here, bro. Oh, what the fuck? I'm sure you don't need to bleed to death for this sample to work. Like, dude, it's like a lot of blood. Why would he cut himself like that?
I don't know.
Oh man. So we're
Maybe he's like one of those kinks.
yeah. We're a little over halfway in The Thing. Not too much longer to go with it. Just a classic movie. Adore this movie from start to finish, and one of John Carpenter's second best in my opinion. But I love it. And we're about to find out who's the thing. I have a feeling it's Gary, but I don't know. Could be wrong.
I don't know.
Just in case nobody has seen this, I'm going to end the clip now. I don't want to spoil it, even though it's a movie that's like 40 years old, 30 years old. I will, I'll cut it here. If you haven't seen The Thing, go watch The Thing.
Check it out. Check it out, seriously.
So I think we have came to the conclusion of the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon Week. Aside from the overview at the end, of course, this is the last film that we're going to be watching of the week of the Movie Madness video. And it's been really fun doing this. We've done it since Sunday, and we've got to see a lot of great Carpenter flicks, and some of them revisited that either myself or Chris hadn't seen in quite some time, so that was fun. And figured we would end it with a bang with the best two, The Thing, and of course Halloween. Adore this movie. I've already said there's literally nothing left for me to say about the movie other than I love it. I've just boasted about it for years and years on this channel. My favorite horror film of all time, and had to honor John Carpenter by watching this movie on his birthday. And Chris, I know there's not much else that you could say about Halloween either. I know you love the film and you've talked about it a lot, but if you could sum your feelings up in a few, short words on Halloween, what would you say?
Well, I mean, John Carpenter's best is probably Halloween. We watched The Thing. That's probably about the closest I can think of. Being the best of the best John Carpenter movies.
Yep.
And Halloween to me has pretty much stood the test of time. I mean, people still talk about it to this day. I think for me personally, it's probably the best original horror film out of the big franchises for me. I like it better than Nightmare on Elm Street, TCM, Friday the 13th, and in a weird way, I think it's kind of timeless.
I agree.
Watch it every Halloween. I mean, I'm not gonna go on and on about it. It's a classic film. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Michael Myers, The Shape, just very iconic. Great film. Can't recommend it enough.
Absolutely, I agree 110%. Now we're gonna press play, dive into the classic known as Halloween, and we'll be showing a few clips here and there. I might show more than one. There might be 2 or 3 within this the last movie in the Movie Madness video. So stay with us, guys, and stay tuned for the overview at the end. So we have the Blackest Eyes, the Devil's Eyes speech, one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic, out of all of Dr. Loomis's speeches and everything that he has to say about The Shape. This is one of the first times you really get to see the truth, not only the truth, but the main opinion of Michael Myers from the perspective of Dr. Loomis, which is awesome. He just sees him as literally pure evil. There's nothing redeemable, there's nothing savable, it's all gone. And that leads from Halloween, obviously, to Halloween 6. Donald Pleasance made these movies what they were. Michael Myers obviously is iconic. The shape, the mask, the movement, everything within that character is iconic. But it's I don't know. It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing. He's chasing his demon, and he never quite catches it. But he knows that it's his mission, you know what I mean? It's something he has to do, because nobody else is going to be able to do it.
And he's always building Michael up to be this unstoppable evil, and really, if it wasn't for the character of Dr. Loomis, I don't think Michael would be as iconic. That character really complements the whole franchise, and he really has a lot of pivotal moments in all the Halloween movies, and that's why I love pretty much all of them up until Halloween 6. I mean, Dr. Loomis is phenomenal. Love that character.
Even in some of the sequels that are not the best, and I'm looking at sequels like 5 particularly. I mean, I enjoy 5. I still have a love and a soft spot for it. 6, I have a lot of enjoyment with 6. And there's even those sequels where you can pick apart some of the bad things. Dr. Loomis is one
Still
of the
that.
it's the glue that holds some of the bad things together that makes you kind of overlook it. So
kind of like how Robert Englund is with The Nightmare on Elm Street. The movies can be bad, but you have that one actor there.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how bad the movie is, they still do a great job.
Yeah, there's just a void with him gone, but couldn't live forever. That's impossible. And H2O, there was a huge void without him there.
Yeah.
And that continued on with the fucking shitty Resurrection. And then you've got the remakes, and I love Malcolm McDowell. He's great in Clockwork Orange, among other films, but he was no Dr. Loomis. He was not Donald Pleasance in the least.
No.
He couldn't have held his fucking hand while he couldn't have held Donald Pleasance's dick to piss. That's just my personal opinion. Any of you guys out there that like the remakes, that's your opinion. I respect it. I'm glad you like a big heaping pile of dog shit. But, we've all got to scoop it up, I guess. So.
Yeah, I'm not too particularly fond of the remakes as well.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about the remakes soon, at least the first one on a new segment that's coming on the channel. Yeah, I'm excited. Should be fun.
That should be fun.
But yeah, Halloween. There'll probably be another clip or so in here, like I said, but this final movie in the movie madness, I'm going to try to show a few. So it's going on 4 minutes, so I'm going to cut now and see you guys back here in a little bit. So we're coming up on the end of Halloween. Just wanted to make this quick video showing another clip. I think Chris may have fell asleep, and I'm going to get to the end of it and fall asleep myself. Got a long day at work ahead of me tomorrow. Just want to say once again, happy birthday, John Carpenter. Loved your work. And it's been a really, really fun Carpenter movie madness week. Going to be giving the overall complete overview over everything that I've watched. It'll be minutes for you guys, probably be tomorrow for me, so keep it horror, guys. So we have came to the conclusion of the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon, and instead of talking about the films, I thought I would take a step back and talk about the man behind the films, because me and Chris both documented our care for the movies, each individual film as we went along, and I really love just about every movie the man's made. I've not seen a bad one, and I want to kind of dive into him as a person and his interests and what made him the great horror director that he is. And this is a man that was born in New York, but relocated to Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is not very far from where I live, and that in itself is a lot of inspiration for me. It's about 4 hours from where I live, and it's, I live in Kentucky, eastern Kentucky, and it's really inspiring to me that he has made some of my personal favorite horror films of all time. And I don't think it was intended to be that way. John Carpenter was a fan of Western films, was also a fan of, I guess you would say, B-movie cult classics and sci-fi, such as A Thing from Another World. He wanted to be a filmmaker. Not a horror filmmaker particularly, but that's kind of what he got pigeonholed in. And he's got some non-horror films, as we've shown in here. Escape from New York and Escape from L.A. are about the only two non-horror that we have shown. But I mean, he's got several. Assault on Precinct 13, which is not a horror film. Dark Star, which is not necessarily a horror film either. The man has made countless, countless horror films, and just films in general that I respect. As I said earlier, and I won't beat a dead horse, he's made my favorite slasher, if you want to call Halloween a slasher. He's made my favorite sci-fi film in The Thing, and he's also made my favorite vampire film in Vampires. His career dwindled down a little bit. Like I said, Vampires may be one of the last good films that he directed. Now he spends most of his days, as far as I'm aware, smoking weed and playing video games, which is not a bad way to spend your time, especially if you've done all the work put in to deserve it, and he has. And it's just, I wanted to honor him by doing this video because this is my favorite horror director of all time. When I think of greats, his face pops in my mind as far as filmmakers are concerned. Very, very deep respect and admiration for a man that seems like he played by his own rules. He wanted to make what he wanted to make. He kind of had to write the script for Halloween 2, which he didn't want to do after Halloween. And, the man was never interested in sequels per se. He wanted to move on to another project. He was very creative in the way that he did things. He did not want to be pigeonholed, but when he did get pigeonholed as a horror director, he kind of embraced it for what it is, as the master of horror, if you will. And all in all, I look at John Carpenter not as a horror director, and just as a director. This man is a filmmaker. That's why I love his films, and that's why I admire his work. And aspire when I think of filming the Walking Dead fan series and other projects that we've worked on, and acting and particularly directing, I aspire to be like him more than some other directors. I mean, I admire other directors such as Martin Scorsese. Quentin Tarantino, obviously Tobe Hooper, Wes Craven, George A. Romero, and so on and so forth. They're great directors. But when I think of who I want to most be like, it would be the man John Carpenter. So, happy late birthday, sir. This is not being posted on his actual birthday. It's taken a little bit to put this video together. And I didn't want to bore you guys any longer because this is probably like an hour long. Probably the longest video that I've ever made on the channel. And definitely the longest Movie Madness. So it was over a span of 5 days. So I'm sorry for the length. But there it is. There's a John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Yeah, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on John Carpenter and his work. And what's your favorite Carpenter film? I would love to know. Give this video a like. And like I said, comment and let us know. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm the Jay Sloan. You've just watched the John Carpenter Movie Madness Marathon. If you've stuck it out this long, I really, really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more videos coming in the future. Different segments and a couple mealtime videos. And, yeah. As always, guys, comment and subscribe. And keep it horror. Peace.